Thank you, Doc Franz. Thank you, Ms. Tet. So, hi, good afternoon. I am Mark Iron Arconama from DOST-ASTI under the Philippine Earth Data Resource and Observation Center. And I am here to discuss you the Philippine Space Technology and Infrastructure via the DOST-ASTI VRS app because we will be having a facility tour by using it. So, without further ado, let's start. So first, let me walk you through the topics that we'll be discussing. I will not elaborate this anymore because this will be discussed further in the DOST ASTI BRS app demo. So first is Pedro, following up is the core, then the next is the Datos project, and this next is the SARwAIS, and the final topic will be the facility tour using the DOST ASTI BRS app. But first, let us download. If you don't have any, if you don't have the app, so before we start, please download the app by using this QR code or by typing it in the Play Store, DOST ASTI BRS. All right. You are downloading it because it's 171 MB. So I think we can proceed with the next topic or the first topic, which is about the Pedro Center. I will not elaborate it anymore because the facility tour will entails all of the details that will be discussed through this. What does the Pedro Center do? So we have three, but not limited to the following. So number one is capturing satellite images. Second one is in mission planning operations. Then the third one will be image request distribution and download. I will discuss this further on the ASTI-BRS app demo later. And the second slide, we can see the actual picture of the ASTI-BRS facility. So as you can see, there are parts there that will be further discussed in the ASTI-BRS app demo later. Then we have the three satellite tracking antenna all over the Philippines. So in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So the largest one is in Davao. Then in Iloilo, it's under construction pa din, yung operation center namin. Then in Quezon City, we have the actual satellite tracking antenna in DOST-ASTI. We have our own satellite assets. So we have our Diwata 1, which is already commissioned last 2020, Diwata 2, which is in orbit, and Novasar 1, though hindi siya totally sa atin, so it was made by SSTL, but we have 10% capacity of it. Then we have the Maya 1, which is used for technology demonstration. So other than that, you have heard, so we have successfully deployed Maya 3 and 4 this year. Then we have our satellite subscriptions because it for availability purposes. So kung hindi available yung isang satellite, so we can utilize other satellites that can capture image, specific image all in the Philippines. So we have the ComSat satellite, ComSat 3 and ComSat 5 from South Korea. Then we have the World View 2, 3, and 4, which is the highest resolution in the satellites. Then we have the Planet Lab constellation, the GUI-1, and Cosmos Skynet. So I will discuss this further also in the BRS app demo later. And this is our team, the Pedro team. Before go diving in the next topic, which is core, so I want you to watch what I am discussing, just to give you a better idea of what we are doing.
Welcome to the DOST-ASTI's Philippine Earth Data Resource and Observation Center, or simply Pedro. Pedro is a ground receiving station that securely receives, processes, and distributes spaceborne imagery from supported remote sensing satellites. It was established in 2016 to complement the Diwata microsatellite operations.
Since the establishment of the Pedro Center, it has expanded to support a wide selection of Earth observation satellite subscriptions in its constellation. These satellites gather multispectral and synthetic aperture radar or SAR images and transmits them to the Pedro GRS or Ground Receiving Station server, where they are processed and analyzed before distribution to the relevant government agencies.
So, let's talk about the many practical applications of Pedro's satellite images.
Pedro provides a wide set of data crucial for various operational and research activities in the areas of emergency response management, agriculture monitoring, forest and environmental surveillance, and other similar activities.
In cases of natural disasters like earthquakes and volcanic eruptions, Pedro images have been relevant in disaster assessment.
Pedro also provides satellite images to the Remote Sensing and Data Science Help Desk, or the Datos team of DOST-ASTI. Datos specializes in using remote sensing, GIS, data science, AI, and other technologies for disaster risk reduction management purposes and other applications, such as agriculture. Essentially, the data provided by Pedro can be further analyzed to derive relevant information that can be used to complement the current efforts of government agencies and other institutions.
Pedro can even provide critical images and data to assess which areas are most heavily hit by disaster to aid in relief operations. This was done during the Marawi siege last May to October 2017. Pedro images can also aid in flood monitoring during typhoons or heavy rainfall caused by monsoons. This is made possible by the Pedro subscription to satellites with SAR technology. This technology is capable of penetrating clouds so that images can be captured even during typhoon season. Flood modeling and landslide hazard assessment can also be conducted through the elevation data using two satellite or aerial images taken at different positions. Points that were both present on the two images will be matched. The difference between the same points on both the image pairs will be calculated and will be used to generate the digital elevation model, or DEM, of the area of overlap. Using frequent high-resolution imaging, Pedro images can also be a reliable channel for environmental monitoring. Pedro is subscribed to satellites capable of identifying features such as buildings, houses, vehicles, and trees. This information is crucial in monitoring deforestation and urban sprawl. Satellite images can also be used to assess the vegetation health and indirectly the level of urbanization in an area. Using SAR satellites, the rice growth stage of an area can be mapped. Radar signals can be used to calculate how high the rice stalks are and what stage they are in.
The Advanced Science and Technology Institute undertakes scientific research and development initiatives in electronics, computing, and information technologies aimed at improving society and the quality of life of Filipinos. In the case of disaster risk reduction and management, the objective is to support the resilience of Filipino communities and enhance their capacity to bounce back from and to build better after calamities. One such initiative is the Philippine Earth Data Resource and Observation, or Pedro Center, which provides high-resolution geospatial scientific data in the form of optical or radar satellite images and their derived products. These satellite images are distributed to various government agencies for their planning, coordination, and response activities. These satellite images are a vital source of information during extreme weather events for managing the government's preparation, relief, and rehabilitation efforts. Through this R&D infrastructure, we're able to create value out of science and technology and subsequently bring this value closer to the Filipino people.
Right, so I hope you learned something about the video. So that's the bigger picture of what does the Pedro Center do. So the second topic will be about core. So to give you an overview, core stands for Computing and Archiving Research Environment. So what does core do in relation with the Pedro Center operation? So basically, core is in charge of processing the data or the satellite data that we are downloading from the Earth observation satellites. So, ginagamit namin yung compute power ng core to process those satellite images. And at the same time, we are using the storage drive provided by the core kasi nga, yung mga satellite images na dinadownload namin is big in size. So, these are the gaming specs of core. So, it has 1,488 gaming laptop equivalent, 1.25 trillion scientific calculators, and 2,698 1 terabyte hard drive worth of storage. So ito yung diagram where pinapakita yung paano na-utilize namin yung core to process those satellite images. So the first one is when the satellite made contact with the satellite tracking antenna. So the satellite tracking antenna communicates with the satellite or vice versa. Then yung mga data na dina-download coming from the Earth observation satellite, pumupunta kay antenna. Then yung antenna is a data converter. Then yung na-convert na data will be stored in the Pedro data storage in sync with the core data storage, or this will serve as the backup storage in core. Then, if the images will be needed to process, so ginagamit namin yung compute power ng core to process those images. Then, in turn, yung final product will be the satellite images that will be provided in the government agency or other institutions that needed those images. So, ayan. So, yun yung overview ng core. Then, we have the Datos project. So, Datos project is the Remote Sensing and Data Science Help Desk. So, ano yung role ng Datos project in relation with those satellite images? So, sila yung nagde-develop ng RS and JS applications ginagamitan ng mga satellite images. They are coordinating and collaborate with the native agencies. Basically, they are training those agencies to have the capacity to process the satellite images on their own. So they have conducted several trainings this year and last year. Then they evaluate, request, and distribute available RSGIS data, and they are 24/7 processing and distribution center of GIS applications or GIS data pag mga typhoon seasons and other disaster-related events. So I will not dive deep through dito sa mga applications na to. So basically, ito yung mga nagawa or ginagawa ng Datos project. So by means of artificial intelligence, so they are using the satellite images for this application. So number one is the terrestrial applications, particularly in mapping. So ayan, makikita niyo yung mga multi-temporal composite images na meron tayo na na-generate nila. So ito sa fish pens mapping. So ito sa isla is in Laguna Lake. They are also have the capability to generate this map. So yung mga built up areas. So by the use of AI and machine learning, so they can generate this sorts of map. So ginamitan siya ng Planet DAB imagery with 3-meter resolution. So the higher the resolution, or mas maliit na resolution, mas maganda yung pagpaprocess ng satellite image. So ito pa, they also have the capability to do plug maps. So ito, every Typhoon event, they are distributing it dun sa mga LGUs na nangangailangan nito. Then, on agricultural side, so ito, if someone needs an application wherein kailangan mong i-count or i-detect yung mga trees na kailangan mo. So, ito yung isang example which is in the mango trees. So, by using AI, so they count the mango trees that the agency wants to know without having to manually counting it. Ito pa yung isa, yung sa tree detection, which is particularly sa coconut trees using a 0.5 meter resolution. So, click ko yung Jeep. So, they are using the training data. So, pinifeed nila dun sa AI just to learn kung ano yung mga several features na meron dun sa every pixel dun sa satellite images para ma-count ng AI kung ilan ba talaga yung object na meron dun sa particular image na yun. Then, this one is an example of road network prediction. Yan. Then other than that, so side note, so dun sa last Marawi siege, so this is an example of satellite image that we have generated by using the satellite worldview 3. So ito yung situation dun sa Marawi siege. So it's before the siege. Then this one, ito, nung gustong i-monitor ng mga LGUs or ng government natin kung ano yung situation dun sa area na yun. Then Datos also provides a map by use of dynamic time warping. So example is this sugarcane detection in Tarlac. Then ito, very seasonal. So ito yung example ng satellite image na meron tayo noong before quarantine by COMSA 3 and during the quarantine March 18, 2020. So ito lang yung just to give you a difference. So yung activity nung in urban area. So tingnan nyo. So before, so makikita yung satellite images na maraming vehicles. Then nung during quarantine, so makikita nyo na walang masyadong activity dun sa road. Then also, the use of one use case of satellite images is in project monitoring. So ito, we can monitor the projects na ginagawa. Particularly ito sa road network, sa Bulacan yata to. Yan. So makikita natin yung progress ng project. So pwede natin infer na if yung isang project is parang sinasabi na may progress. So, pwede nang ma-justify. So, ito nga po, may progress na. Parang ganun. Then, the other application will be on the drought monitoring. Yan. By using the satellite Landsat 8. So, yun. So, I will not elaborate it anymore. So, I will also play a video regarding Datos, so you can also have a bigger picture of what the Datos project is doing. So enjoy.
We now live in an era called the Fourth Industrial Revolution, where every day, data is produced in massive volumes at a breakneck pace. In the Philippines alone, the Department of Science and Technology has supported several projects that collect enormous amounts of Earth observation, geospatial, and environmental data. Big data demands a new approach in processing and analysis to leverage available data for new scientific discoveries and enhance decision support. The Advanced Science and Technology Institute, under the DOST, spearheads data processing and analysis tasks through the Remote Sensing and Data Science Help Desk, or Datos project. With ASTI's access to science and technology infrastructure, the Datos project makes sense of these data, using expertise in remote sensing, geographic information system, artificial intelligence, and data science. Using AI and machine learning techniques on these satellite images, the Datos project takes mapping to a whole new level by generating satellite-based maps on demand.
Datos is a 24-hour help desk for remote sensing and data science. The Department of Science and Technology has been investing a lot in space technology for Earth observation data.
We have the ground receiving station of Pedro. They manage our Diwata satellites. We store the data sets from the core, and from there, we generate whatever is needed for disaster, during typhoon event, during earthquake.
The Datos project's outputs can be divided into two categories. Feature detection, where an AI model is trained to detect objects automatically from satellite images, be it floods, roads, or trees. And time series analysis, where voice recognition techniques are applied on radar satellite images to identify seasonal crops like rice, corn, and sugarcane. One of the collaborators of the Datos project is the Sugar Regulatory Administration, which undertakes nationwide sugarcane plantation mapping activities.
What ASTI did is automate the process, and then another thing is na-access namin yung HPC nila, and nakaka-acquire din kami ng mga satellite images na nagagamit namin sa aming mga researches.
As long as there are data to analyze and people who need information from these data, the potential applications that Datos can explore are limitless.
Working with Pedro, Core, Preginet, and then filling in the gap with Datos, kind of achieve this end-to-end, this chain of creating value out of products of space technology in the form of satellite images.
We have different unlimited possibilities that can be extracted from Earth observation data, but we can only extract them, or we can only process them if they tell us to do so.
Data is at the core of what the Datos project does. With the current capabilities and plans of the Datos project for the long term, it is now ready to take on the demands and challenges of Industry 4.0 and beyond.
So that sums up the Datos project. So I hope you have learned what does the Datos project do in a bigger picture. So the next topic that we'll be discussing is about the SARwAIS. So SARwAIS stands for Synthetic Aperture Radar with Automatic Identification System. So it is a project funded by DOST and is monitored by the DOST Fisheries. So kami lang yung nagma-manage currently ng SARwAIS project. So ito. So SARwAIS project uses the NovaSAR-1 satellite, which is made by SSTL, as I have mentioned before. So though hindi natin siya ginawa, so we have 10% of capacity of that satellite. So nagagamit natin yung 10% na yun to capture images in the Philippines. So yung mga applications ng NovaSAR-1 satellite image is in the following. So we can use that for maritime surveillance, forestry, agriculture, and disaster monitoring. So it's not limited with this. So the following slides, ipapakita ko yung mga applications niya or yung mga sample images na meron tayo na na-capture ni NovaSAR-1. So ito. So NovaSAR-1 satellite images is used for ship monitoring. So ito. Ito yung sample na nakuha ni NovaSAR last December 24, 2019 in Mischief Reef. So we can see in the satellite image na mayroong mga ships na detect through the use of AI in the SAR satellite image. So side note, so yung SAR satellite image is ganito talaga. So meron tayong optical, then meron tayong SAR. So ang optical is yung colored one, then yung SAR is yung black and white image. Then number 2, SAR is used for ship surveillance. So yung makikita nyo dyan, yung mga puting yan is yung mga AIS signals na nakuha ni Novasar in all over the Philippines. Okay, so we have the Siyasat portal. So para ma-view natin yung mga satellite images na na-capture ni Novasar, so Siyasat portal serves as the image repository or a web app of the Novasar satellite. So currently, yung Siyasat portal is live and we can access it through the siyasat.asti.dost.gov.ph/icps. So if you need access, so you can email us at info@asti.dost.gov.ph or at grs.asti.dost.gov.ph. So ito yung ginagamit ng mga end users namin for them to access the Novasar image. In that portal, so they can download or access the satellite image as well as the other satellite data na pinoprovide ni Novasar. So ano ba yung mga features ng Siyasat portal? So ito, so we have the planning and tasking module where an end user can task or capture an image over a specific area. Then, number 2 is the data visualization. So, yung mga satellite images na na-download, we can view it through this portal. As well as, ito, yung mga ships detected na meron dun sa satellite images. Pwede natin siyang i-overlay dito. Then, we have the automated reports generation. So, ayun, that's a wrap up. So, we have learned many things about the Philippine space technology infrastructure. So right now, or the next topic that we will be going through is the demo itself, the DOST-ASTI VRS app demo. So reminding you to download again if you are not yet downloading it in the Play Store. So you can scan the QR code or type in the Play Store ASTI VRS or DOST-ASTI VRS. So if na-download nyo na, that will be great. So, ano ba yung DOST-ASTI VRS? So, dati kasi, so we have been making facility tours para dun sa mga students and other government agencies na nagpupunta dun sa ASTI. So, yung pandemic, so aside from that, we don't have access through it physically. So, we decided to make an app called DOST-ASTI VRS to simulate the facility that we have in the Pedro Center or in the DOST-ASTI. So, pinapakita nito yung mga facilities in mobile where the user can interact with the objects. So, yung currently meron ngayon sa Play Store is yung sa mobile version. So, yung VR app version is ginagawa on development pa rin. So, I think we can go through it right now. So we should begin learning, exploring, and discovering what DOST-ASTI VRS is. So without further ado, let's start.